What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be combining a bunch of different pill colors and creating our own concoction, which hopefully is going to result in us having a completely different pill, having a completely different ideology that is comprehensive, that applies both the red pill and the black pill, and that pretty much removes all of the issues and flaws with every individual pill. Because the problem when you subscribe to one particular ideology, especially the ones that I'm going to talk about, is that first of all, your mind is trapped. You're literally limited to the confines of that particular belief system. And it also means that you take the good with it, but you also take the bad things that come with it. And a lot of people cannot escape this sort of trap that these ideologies impose on you. So I basically want to liberate you, open your mind. I've been in this space long enough to understand that there is no such thing as a perfect pill. Everything has its pros, everything has its cons. Some ideologies are flawed, some ways of thinking are flawed. Some people claim to understand female nature and to understand how dating works, but they're missing a ton of nuances that are extremely important, and that's basically going to change everything for you. So we're going to cut through the BS today. And I just hope that you watch this with an open mind, okay? Because I'm basically going to be shitting on every single pill. The red pill is fucking cope, mostly. The black pill is fucking gay, mostly. And all the other pills are fucking stupid as well, unless you take the good parts of every single one and you combine it to create a new color, which is exactly what we're going to do in this video. So let's start off with the red pill, because this is obviously like what I started with. If you watch some of my old videos, a lot of the rhetoric and the narratives that I had would mainly fall in line with what the red pill says. But, you know, as you age and as you start to get experience in life, and again, I'm young, guys, I'm fucking 22, but I feel like I'm starting to really understand the bigger picture and what's really going on here. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the problems with the red pill. The first obvious problem that it has is this whole build your empire cope. You know, how many times do you guys hear some fucking, alpha male or some red pill YouTuber go on a podcast and talk about how, oh, dude, you got to build your empire. You got to withdraw from women, dude. You can't talk to women until you're 30, until you're a millionaire, until you've built all of these fucking things. And by the way, like, let's just be honest for a second, right? When people say build your empire, what they really mean, like, if we're talking about on a fundamental level, what build your empire actually means is acquire money and acquire muscles. What else? Like, what do people mean when they say empire? I've always been curious. You're not a fucking Genghis Khan. You're not a fucking political leader. You're not a fucking dictator or an emperor. So when people say build your empire, you're not, first of all, you're not physically crafting anything. You're just going to the gym and getting muscles, and you're getting a ton of money. And the problem with doing that is when people have this, oh, I'm gonna withdraw from dating and I'm gonna just build my empire, is you lose a lot of what actually makes you attractive to women in the first place, which are your social skills and your looks. Because if you're not capitalizing on your social skills, aka like going out and actually interacting with people, talking to girls, and when you're fucking 23, 24, you're probably going to be better looking than when you're 40, with a few exceptions, of course. So why would you wait and sort of reduce yourself into an asset, into a bank account, just to be able to attract the wrong kinds of girls? Like, dude, you're sat there building your empire and grinding and going on monk mode and not talking to fucking women in your 20s. Chad is piping them at 22, 23, 24, 25. He doesn't give a fuck. He's not building an empire. And who's to say that building your empire is mutually exclusive from getting women? You can fucking do both at the same time. Dealing with chicks and dating does not take as much time as a lot of these people like to act like it does. Like, sure, if you're fucking seeing, 10 girls a week, yeah, it's probably going to take a lot of time. But if you're going on like 1-2 dates a week, maybe even less than that, you can still build your empire, and you can still, focus on yourself while still enjoying your life, while still, going out and having fun, having a social life, and interacting with women. This whole idea of neglecting your social skills entirely and, devoting your entire life to building an empire is so cope, dude. Please don't fucking fall into this trap. What's going to end up happening is you're going to be 30 years old, maybe with some muscles and money, but women still don't fucking want you because you can't talk to them, you don't have a social life, and you missed out on developing such a huge aspect of your life, okay? So building your empire is so fucking... I fucking cringe every time I hear this term. The next is like the whole high value man archetype is cringe. and it appeals to the male gaze. It does not appeal to the female gaze. No woman is sat there fucking thinking, oh my god, FitX Fearless is so hot. No woman has FitX Fearless posters on her fucking wall. Whereas these guys try to act like if you become exactly like them, if you sort of get this whole red pill look, you guys know what I'm talking about. The watches, the suits, the high value look. You know the fucking cringe shit that women are gonna want you, when it's just seriously not even the case. I think that you would be a lot better off appealing to women if you follow black pill standards of what actually looks good than if you sort of acquiesce to this whole red pill idea. So the high value man archetype is cringe. Only men fucking glaze other men who have that shit. Women have an entirely different gaze. The third thing is that it creates a ton of bitter fucking 40-year-olds complaining about hypergamy all day. There's so many red pill channels of dudes who just sit there and like they're these like fucking just complaining about hypergamy. Oh, hypergamy's bad, hypergamy, MGTOW, all of this shit. And it's like, dude, I get it. You know, some people are less fortunate than others. I understand that there's some black pilling realities to the world. But if you're fucking 20, why are you watching these guys, bro? Like, seriously, you have to ask yourself, you're 20, you're in your prime. Why are you watching some 40-year-old who's been through like 5 divorces tell you what the fuck to do with your dating life? It makes absolutely no sense. And then there's also too many theory junkies, people talking and talking, giving you all the theory, but they're not actually telling you what to do in practice. I fucking went through this. I hated it. Every time I would need specific advice, there would be like so much theory wrapped behind it. You know, it's like wrapped in this SMV, hypergamy, interest level shit. Like it's just not practical enough. So that's like another problem with the red pill. Male gaze dominated. We already talked about this. Detached from reality, because to be quite frank, most red pill advice boils down to just become a millionaire and just become famous, right? Because they don't want to acknowledge lookism. They don't want to acknowledge like, oh, like face and height matters. So what they'll do is they'll just say, yeah, bro, just be famous, just be pre-selected, be a millionaire. The problem is that most guys are just not going to be in that position. For every top 1%, there's a bottom 99%. So red pill advice just doesn't apply to the general population as much as, say, black pill advice, which tells you to improve your looks, but at least everybody can improve their looks, right? Everybody can go to the gym. And, you know, the red pill is just full of angry, vengeful copers. At least black pill has some humor behind it. You know, every time I watch a black pill video, I crack up. I'm always laughing and shit. Red pillars are just too fucking angry and hateful, right? That's another thing that really turns me off from it. And then obviously the last thing is these guys duck the black pill so hard, dude. Like every time, and when they don't duck it, they get fucked over. Because every time I see a red pillar versus black pillar debate, the black pillar always destroys him, right? So they're kind of scared to confront this elephant in the room, and they run away from it. You know, they don't want to acknowledge, they don't want to go into certain talking points, because then if they do, they know their ideology is just going to fall apart and crumble. So these are the problems with the red pill. I hope I explained that well enough. So yeah, these are the problems with the red pill. This is why the entire ideology as a whole kind of falls apart. And I didn't even go into things like, you know, long-term relationships. The fact that a lot of red pillars just tend to have unsustainable relationships. You can't really think of a red pill role model to follow in that regard. So yeah, let's move on. Now, with as many problems as the red pill has, it also comes with a lot of things that actually save it. The valuable information that you can extract. And it kind of comes down to two things, which is pretty much self-improvement and social skills, aka PUA. In my opinion, the only benefit you can extract from red pill is the fact that they tell you to go to the gym, which is like pretty obvious at this point. If you need somebody to tell you to work out, you're kind of fucked. And then social skills and pickup artists, because that's the only application. It's like there's like two kinds of red pillars, right? There's the type that's like, oh fuck man, women suck, I fucking hate these bitches. And then there's the second one which is like, all right bro, I understand that female nature sucks, but I'm gonna do something about it. And that's where PUA, games, social dynamics, and all of that shit comes in. And, you know, so a lot of people wouldn't even say that it's particularly red-pilled, but I would kind of classify it in that category. That's how I found it, at least. And so that's really the only benefit you can get from the red pill, dude. It's the only practical part of it that's going to actually help you and change your life and do something. The rest of it is all theory. It's all talk. It's like, it's all just mental masturbation. And if you're looking to improve your dating life seriously and not be the space as some kind of like professor or some kind of fucking guru or whatever, and you just want to get results and you don't give a fuck about any of this stuff, then this is the only part of the red pill you should be concerned about. Self-improvement, pickup / game / actually knowing how to talk to women. That's literally it, guys. So with all that being said, what percentage of the red pill should we add to our concoction, right? What percentage of the red pill should we take? In my estimation, I would say around 30%. That's probably the self-improvement slash PUA part. And then we're going to just get rid of the other 70%, which is the theory, the complaining, SMV stuff. Because even though that's important to understand initially, and I will continue to talk about those things because you have to understand those things to understand why the practical part works in the first place. Because if you don't understand why women think the way they do, why they respond to certain things the way they do, then you're not going to understand why what you're doing works. And if you have a curious mind like me, you want to know the why behind everything. So let's just take 30% of the red pill and sort of just get rid of the rest. And anyways, you don't want to take too much of the red pill theory stuff because the theory is wrong. The theory says that women have a visceral attraction to your money, and it puts a lot of importance on non-primal things, whereas black pill has a much better explanation of the world. The worldview is a lot more solid. If you want theory on how dating actually works, I would say the black pill has a much better explanation of that. All right, now that we've explained why the red pill is mostly cope, let's talk about why the black pill is mostly gay. First of all, it's defeatist as fuck. I don't know a single black pillar who actually gets good results, except the ones that look smacks and focus more on like ascending and looking better. Those kinds of black pillars do actually get somewhere, even though their social skills probably suck and they end up with mid girls, but that's a whole other fucking topic, right? Most black pills though are extremely defeatist. They subconsciously want to lose. Like you could literally give them the blueprint. You could show them examples of people who've won, people who've gotten results, and people who've done amazing things. And then they will still find a way to lose. They'll still find excuses to make. And it ultimately just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. It's like you predict the outcome that you're going to lose and you do things to sabotage yourself so you can get to that outcome. That's what a lot of black pillars do. Another problem with the black pill is too much Chad worship, right? I don't see people in the finance space worshiping billionaires. Like I don't see somebody in the finance space saying, dude, why would I even have to work to be a millionaire when a trust fund kid can just wake up and use his parents' money? You don't see that. But with Chad, there's always this narrative that's like, oh, dude, why do I have to do any work? Why do I have to even do anything if Chad can just take a step outside of his house and have women swooning over him? So I don't fucking like that. I think it's kind of gay. Refusal to admit social skills and behavior matter. This is a very sneaky thing that the black pill does. They won't admit that social skills matter. You see them very reluctant to do that, but they'll still say, oh no, but like if you're neurodivergent, then that's a problem. If you're autistic, that's a problem. Just be normal, bro. So you don't want to admit that social skills matter, that the way you interact matters, that your behavior matters, even though that's exactly what evolution says. But then you'll say, no, but you still have to be normal though. So I just think that that's a bit of a gap in the black pill for sure. I think that that's something that they're completely wrong about. They have no idea what they're talking about when they say game doesn't matter, when they say social skills doesn't matter. This is just a chronically online take. If you've actually witnessed somebody who isn't conventionally attractive get girls who are conventionally attractive, and you see the way he behaves and interacts with them, this would be enough to change your mind. I'm not saying that this happens often, because usually people who are conventionally unattractive tend to have behaviors that are unattractive as well. But there are exceptions, and those exceptions show that there is definitely something to game and to social skills. But of course, these guys will never admit it. All that looks maxing just to end up with girls way below your league because you take what you can get. Black pillars have a very scarce mindset when it comes to women. They're literally like, oh my god, I have to take what I can get because women are these impossible things and I have to look perfect for them. And then they end up getting girls who are fucking like 2 to 3 looks points below them. Whereas guys with game, guys who know how to talk to girls, guys who don't give a fuck and just shoot their shot, end up with hotter girls. Girls better looking than themselves. Which, by the way, according to Black Pill theory, it's pretty much impossible to end up with a girl better looking than yourself, other than the fact that she might have like ulterior motives with you. Oh, she wants you for your money, she wants you for your status, but she doesn't actually have genuine desire for you. That's what they say. And of course, another problem with the black pill is that it only accounts for short-term relationship dynamics. It does not account for things that happen in the long term. Given a long enough time horizon, the playing field is equalized for all men. Chad in a 6-month relationship becomes pretty identical to the normie in a 6-month relationship. It doesn't account for why women lose interest. Like if a girl likes you initially and then she loses interest over the course of 6 months, but your looks haven't changed and your height hasn't changed over those 6 months, then obviously there's something behavioral going on that's leading to that interest loss. It's not all looks, obviously, right? But obviously the black pillars do have a point when they say that, you know, in a short-term situation, your looks are extremely important. I do not deny that. You'll never catch me saying some shit like looks don't matter. Looks are 1%, 10% of the equation. But I do think it's a lot less than what black pillers think it is. Okay, now let's talk about the black pill's saving grace. First of all, it's much better and a more accurate worldview than the red pill, okay? It explains the world. Like, if you look at the world from a black pill lens, things will make so much more sense than from a red pill lens. People end up with people who look similar to them. Sub 5s most likely are going to end up with a sub 5. Normies are most likely going to end up with normies. Chads are mostly going to end up with Stacy's, right? It's just how the world works. And it also emphasizes the importance of your face and height in a world where the physique cope is mainstream. People overestimate the importance of physique. Listen, I love gymming as much as the next guy. I love working out as much as the next guy, but I also understand that physique pales in comparison to your face and your height. Another thing that saves the black pill, and I would argue that this is actually the golden nugget of it, is soft maxing and hard maxing. For those of you who don't know what these terms mean, soft maxing is when you looks max in a more natural way, and hard maxing is when you looks max through surgeries or through pharmaceuticals. The black pill also applies much better to the general population, like I said before, because it's a lot easier to improve your looks than to be a famous millionaire. And I would argue it's a lot easier to improve your social skills as well. So with all that being said, what percentage of the black pill are we going to take? We will take around 40% of the black pill. We're going to take all the maxing stuff, because all that stuff is actually very helpful, very useful, and it saves lives. Soft maxing, hard maxing, geo maxing, fraud maxing, neurotypical maxing. Let's just throw that in there. That's what we're going to take. All the defeatist shit, all the it's over shit, all the genetic determinism shit, leave that for the people who are actually cooked, okay? If you're not below like 5'4", or if you're not completely fucking chopped in the face, you should not be going down this whole rehab room shit. I know a lot of guys who are actually like 6'2" and have an average face who are so deep in the black pill matrix. I'm like, dude, if you're deep in the matrix, you better be fucking soft maxing or hard maxing, right? Like, if you're, I don't mind people who are extreme about the black pill, but I respect the guys who do something about it, not the guys who give up. Okay, so if you're gonna be extreme, go and get a fucking double jaw surgery. Go and do limb lengthening. Don't fucking sit there and contemplate roping, even though you have a lot of potential. The next pill we're gonna talk about is the white pill, which is a Nietzschean approach to life. For those of you who don't know, Nietzsche has this philosophy of persevering despite a black pill reality. So I want you all to accept that life is unfair. Yes, Chad has it easier. Big fucking deal, okay? Some people have it easier in life. Some people have it harder in life, okay? Some people are dealt better cards than you. It is what it is. You're not genetically blessed, Chad, so move forward with your life. That doesn't mean that you still can't experience good things. Have an optimistic mindset about what you can realistically achieve despite living in a black pill world, okay? If you go out to a bar with your 6'5" Chad friend, of course he's gonna pull more than you, bro. That's just life. It is what it fucking is. I don't give a fuck. How can I get better? How can I improve? How can I get more of what I want? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I see the world, but I can see how a lot of people can't think that way. Do the best you can. Let the chips fall where they may. And if you decide that trying isn't worth it and there's other things that genuinely make you happier in life, then go for it, dude. You tried everything. You really wanted it badly. You didn't get it. All right, bro, just go and cope. Go play some golf. Go do some MMA. Like, there's more to life than fucking chicks, guys, okay? But this is the worst case scenario. I really think that most people can get more of what they want. What percentage of the white pill are we taking? Let's add 20% into the mix and let's fucking go on. One thing I will say about the white pill is acceptance is great, but if you just accept and you don't take any action and you don't utilize the information that you get from black and red pill, then you're not going to get the best results. By the way, guys, if you want a comprehensive way to improve your dating life, a step-by-step blueprint, not just theory, but actual action, that's gotten a lot of the people who join my community results, as you can see here, and that's gotten a ton of people more of what they want, more of the girls that they want to date, less of the fucking mids that they don't want to date, then you can check out my school community. I have probably the best systems in place. You're not going to regret joining. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys inside. So the last pill that people are probably asking about at this point is, what about the blue pill? Naturally, the blue pill is obviously something we should stay the fuck away from because it's naive. It is a sign that you don't understand what's going on in the world. But once you pass the barrier that is the red pill and the black pill, you will have to do some blue pill shit, okay? Your personality, your compatibility, your shared values, that is actually the glue that's gonna keep the relationship going in the long term, okay? As long as you have some red pill awareness to where you're not getting cucked, you're not a victim of a dual mating strategy, she's not fucking using you for your money, then you're fine. So let's just be conservative and let's take 10% of the blue pill to be safe. Now, our concoction consists of 30% red, 40% black, 20% white, 10% blue. let's check out what color that gives us. So as you guys can see over here, we've got 30% red, 10% blue, 20% white, 40% black, and that gave us a solid pink. This is the color. So I guess right now I would say I am solid pink pilled, and I suggest you be solid pink pilled too. I do think that this is the best, the most perfect combination of all the ideologies, of everything the manosphere has spewed over the past fucking decade. And yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed. And check out my school if you haven't already. I think you'll really fucking benefit from it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.